When did dating get so hard? No. The apps are for making money for the owners of the apps. They did make it easier back in the golden era before the whole swipe to match paradigm made everyone superficial. Then the apps realized they could make even more money by adopting the pay to win model. So the same as every single good startup idea ever then. Yep, it followed the enshittification cycle like essentially every other product. When dating expanded to more than the people around your age in your town, hot MILFs are 4 miles from you. Always. Dating apps make more money when you stay single. Not necessarily single, but just in a constant state of flux. Never settling on anyone. Sure. A is nice and cozy, but B is exciting and interesting. And C makes you inspired and spiritual. Those are all things you may care about in varying quantities. And you think the perfect match should encompass absolutely all the options you ever would want out of someone. The reality is that there are no perfect matches. You can get close, but that's it. And in a society where settling is this really terrible word that frames the end of the journey as a bad thing, you are conditioned to keep looking. I love this. Everybody should read this MSSG. Rather than just competing against the local competition, now you are competing against the entire world. Both men and women think they can do better vs what they have already. And this is probably due to the internet and more social media. Instagram specifically. Social media 100% ruined life as we knew it. Funny, a decade ago people couldn't stop talking about how transformational social media is, and now all anyone talks about is how it's harming all of us. Just like cigarettes in the 50s. It was transformational. That doesn't mean it was a good transformation. The apps basically did to dating what Uber did to taxis. They disrupted the whole thing. Now it's the ref meat market based on appearance. When was it not that? When we lost our third spaces. I miss going to the mall. We still have malls. Okay, but like malls are low-key empty a lot of the time. In my country, malls are absolutely full of people. But are you supposed to just randomly approach girls who are shopping? Dating became hard when parents stopped sitting you down and saying, "You're going to marry Elizabeth Whitaker in the fall. Her family owns a nice little sheep farm. It's a good match. Her dad is my friend." Sick. That's settled. I'd honestly take an arranged marriage right now. You'd risk getting married to a redditor. Though. Shudder, I'm good with a single life. 1. Do not be ugly. 2. Be handsome. And don't forget confident in the face of 100 rejections. Be confident. According to women online never trust what they tell you, but rather what they do, man or woman. Of course. I'm not 6 feet tall either, or making 6 figures, or other attributes so many women pretend are their minimums. Same women, not dating obese women. Of models and single mothers is unfair and unrealistic standards. It gets harder the older you get, because your expectations rise. And reasonably so. Because the older you get, the less patience you have for bullshit. You're less likely to take chances, because you're tired of bullshit. We change to protect ourselves. But the trade-off is that we don't give ourselves enough opportunity to see if we like someone. There's not enough time and attention for anything to materialize. My experience has been the opposite. I feel it's gotten much easier in my 30s than it was in my 20s. It truly feels like dating just absolutely sucks now. I know that this is anecdotal evidence, but most dudes I know are not dating. And I have a wide variety of friends with different hobbies / races / socioeconomic backgrounds / personalities. So it's not like I'm just getting a sample of a specific demographic. Also, I know for a fact that this was not the case for my parents when they were my age. Most of their friends were in relationships. They've told me this themselves. Incidentally, I've seen stats that Gen Z women are more likely to be dating / partnered than Gen Z men of the same age. I know that women are also struggling out there, but it feels like their struggle is a lot different and less drastic. Old guy here. Dating has never been easy. Technology has just confused everyone involved. You want to date? Learn to talk to people. Everyone. Every race. Every age. Master that skill, and dating will be a lot easier. Relying on apps or your phone is like moving to New York City when your life goal is to be a cowboy. It could happen, but not very likely. Trouble with apps is that eventually you have to meet them and you. Face to face is the only way to go. How did you learn to talk to people back in the days? Just by talking? That means that you took many rejections and many failures in the beginning, right? That's what I did. Eventually rejection felt like nothing to me. I'm scared that all these rejection will make me depressed in my academic year and take a hit on my results. When Tinder became popular, I can personally attest to this. I finished high school in 2013 and moved from my small town into a big city. In high school I was an awkward, short, ugly, long-haired insecure loser who had nothing going for him. I still had girlfriends and got laid a bunch. It was a lot simpler back then, man or woman. For better or for worse, your only options were your immediate friend group or friends of friends. Then Tinder came and fucked everything up. Everyone's looking for someone out of their league and thinks Mr. Perfect is right around the corner. Despite having objectively improved my life in every aspect compared to my high school self, I had close to zero success in college. I got laid once and got like 100 matches total. Went on like 3 to 4 dates in 5 years of college. And I get it. Why pick me when there's an older, more successful, more attractive, taller etc. guy just a couple swipes away? I'd act the exact same way if you put me in a woman's shoes. I hate the modern commodification of dating. We get to pick and choose the physical traits of our potential partner like we are making a ref Sims character first and foremost, before we ever get the chance to get to know them. You hit the nail on the head, bro. Dating apps are full of people that are terrible at dating for various reasons. My best relationships always came from meeting girls in the wild, which gets harder as you grow older. Dating has always been hard. It was just on a macro level, within your town/city/county, and you were competing with only the people in those areas. Now it's on a macro level, state, country, continent, and you are competing with 100x the amount of people. Plus we have confused an entire generation of men, maybe 2 generations, by sending them mixed messages about what they should bring to the table. To put it another way, young men are confused about what they need to offer/provide to young women, and we as a society mock those who cannot seem to figure it out. Think of it like job applications. When they were paper and in person, you had to only compete with those who had the balls to apply in person. This meant you cut out people nervous to apply and people who didn't live in your area. Now it's a simple click to apply, and you can apply from anywhere in the world, from the comfort of your couch. This also opened up businesses to be a lot more picky. The average candidate is no longer attractive. They want the best of the best. When social media was created, that's basically it. Dating has never been easy. When it gets this rough, it's time to take a break and focus elsewhere. Emo. Well, dating has always been hard, and apps are for making money, not for helping to make dating easier. I mean, originally, there were for gay guys to more easily identify other gay guys for casual hookups in a sea of straight people. They were well suited for that. The question wasn't about the good old days of dating apps. It was about today. And today, apps are designed to keep people single, so they keep paying that subscription fee. When people had the same mindset as you regarding apps, that's when dating got hard. If dating is your only factor for living, I suggest you find something else to live for. Don't give all your power or purpose to live to one person. Otherwise you're going to be disappointed. I mean, it's a valid perspective, but dating and what comes with it, sex, affection, company, are very damn important for a satisfactory life. I agree. However, there are people who live their lives without the company or affections of others, not because they don't want them, but some just are unable to obtain them. Somehow, those people have found ways to still live a satisfactory lives. There are many paths to happiness. Sometimes we have to keep our minds open for other opportunities. I guess that's the trickiest part. How do you manage to build a happy life without something so important? I think the previous poster is saying that many people end up happy even without those things. So dating is actually not that important. You can get the things you listed from a dog. except the first. It was always hard, hence why I gave up. I highly recommend, as it's very freeing. Single for 11 years now. Just 11 years. Rookie numbers man. Get on my level. 14 years. And if I don't drop dead tomorrow, likely more to come. I'll get there. Give it time. I reckon I can get that number to several decades as I'm not doing anything about it. And don't intend to. 2003 lol these dumbus apps. Last Tuesday. Too much internet and porn making social life more complicated. My personal guess is after the internet became mainstream. It was never easy, but at least before this, you met people in person in social settings. PFFF. Before that it was clubbing, and you weren't if you weren't one of the cool people there. Not just clubbing. We hung out in groups all the time, and socialized at people's houses. Parking lots. Whatever. Many girls in those places too. For men it's hard. A female friend of mine gave me some info from her perspective of how hard it is for guys on dating apps, unless you are attractive. She herself set quite a few requirements for a guy she was looking for. Older than her, 30s, religious and her specific physical preference / type, and she was able to find someone easily. She even admitted to swiping off a lurid of guys, because she either outright didn't find them attractive, or even if they weren't her type physically without knowing any one of them character-wise. She straight up said men do not have that luxury, and can't afford to be picky, and be willing to give anyone a chance. On top of that she mentioned that a lot of areas will have private Facebook female-only groups dedicated to discussions around dating apps and gossip on guys who live in those areas using dating apps, and will share info between each other on which guys are good or bad. So if you have a bad rep of any kind, regardless on whether it's true or not, you are screwed. Basically if you are not attractive regardless on personality as a guy you have everything against you. I think most guys are ignorant of the fact, or have been downplaying the negative effect that these Facebook groups are having on dating for men. These groups just started last year and have exponentially grown bigger and more toxic. A majority of the guys who I see posted on those groups have done nothing wrong, but they might get posted by 2 or 3 girls who they simply matched with on an app and never even dated. The girls will be like EWW. He also liked me too. OMG. He chatted with me last week. He was just posted by someone else. Then they will proceed to speculate that he must be married or have a girlfriend and is a cheating piece of shit, and will tear him apart in the comments. Meanwhile, the unsuspecting guy has no idea why the girls who he matches with stop chatting with him, unmatch, stand him up on dates, etc. And yes, I have seen girls brag on those groups about standing guys up on a planned date after they gossiped about him, or even boast about getting a free meal out of him before ghosting the guy. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but if anything it makes an easy filter for any woman a guy would be better off without. Everyone is saying apps, but if you look at the statistics most women aren't even using them. So guys, just go out there and practice your social skills. Obviously easier said than done, but better than resignation. Reminder, nothing worth doing or having is ever easy. Drizzle drizzle, you're worth it.